Hey everyone, Eggman here. So this video is going to be talking about the Universe 7 only Goku leader from Tournament of Power. Originally, I made this video with, I had a deck with some of the new cards from Set 4, and then also I talked about all the Set 4 cards that were introduced that could be added to this deck, and kind of talk about like what I did add and what I didn't add, but it's like today the Ultimate Box got spoiled, and there are a couple more Universe 7 cards that got released for that. So I kind of was like, oh man, do I redo my video or not? So I decided to redo my video. So this is take 2. But yeah, we're going to talk about all the new Universe 7 cards that have come out, are spoiled since Tournament of Power. Talk about which ones I like for the new green leader, or for the old green leader. There's a new green leader, but for the original one, and then also show a deck list off too. So if you want to just skip to the deck list, this is a set 4 deck list, but it will be here. Now it is actually there. I actually remember to put the timestamp there. Before and then but right now we're going to just talk about the cards for Universe 7. So okay, we're back. We've got these Universe 7. So let's talk about this Goku that I wanted to make the list for originally. So he has the Warrior of Universe 7 trait, and then he's also got the really unique permanent where you can't have non-Universe 7 cards in your deck. So like when this first came out, there were like barely 50 cards you could put together with the Universe 7 tag, so you pretty much just put all those into a deck and then you had it, right? Like it was almost came with like a deck recipe itself. So but I thought this card was really cool, and I knew that, you know, as more sets came out, he'd get slowly more powerful because there's more cards you can put in the deck. So his auto is when you attack a leader card, you draw 1 card, and you get 5k. I think that's kind of neat, and it kind of like the plus 5k without combo is really good for applying some pressure to your opponent. And then when you awaken with him, he has the untap 2 energy, and then on the other side, there he is. Oh, I still Warrior of Universe 7 and still has the draw 1 and plus 5k for duration of the turn. But also, when he is attacked, you can play 2 cards from your hand to the drop area. If you do so, negate the attack and the skill for duration of the turn. So that's really good. I think so. In this meta, the ability to have a free negate for no energy is really powerful. Just this kind of persistence to survive for another turn is just super good in this meta. So that's kind of also why I wanted to kind of revisit this leader. And so let's talk about the new cards that came out in like set 4 and the promos and stuff. So first is this Piccolo. He's a 2-drop. When you play him, you find a Gohan with 3 or less. This is pretty good. There are 2 new Gohans this fits for, and then also the meditating Gohan that you can get for him. I mean, 2 energy draw a card for this deck isn't too terrible. I think he's all right. Next is this Gohan. He can be picked from Piccolo, but when you play him, you choose 1 card, one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less, and KO it. I think that's really powerful for coming out on turn 3. Anything like it just can destroy anything with barrier. I think that's strong, and yeah, the fact that you can, you know, set it up so. Let me talk about this one first. So this is Burst Attack Son Gohan. He's critical, and then when you attack, if you have 4 or less cards, you draw 2 cards. So I think drawing 2 cards is always powerful. With critical, having 4 or less cards in this leader, I feel is a little bit tricky because like your opponent had to be like really aggressive. You had to combo out a lot of stuff last turn. But yeah, the fact that he draws just because he draws when he attacks, and then there's a lot of card draw otherwhere, but so that's a bit tricky. But this also compensates for the fact that our leader isn't a draw 2, so just being able to play him and drawing 2 cards when you attack is powerful. And yeah, I think so the flexibility for this guy to choose, you know, you play this on turn 2 and you're like, okay, you set up turn 3, do you want to be able to destroy something in your opponent's field for turn 3, or do you want to attack with a critical and draw more cards? So I think this is a really this is pretty good as kind of a package. So next up is the super rare Vegeta. I got kind of mixed feelings about this one. So when you play him, you draw a card and you switch one of your energy to active mode. That's really good. So you play him on turn 4, and then you can tap out on turn 4, but then you untap one and you have a little bit of, wiggle energy for defense the next turn. Then also active main, you choose 2 cards in your life. It is 2. It's not up to 2 like some of the other cards that were released. And you get plus 3k for duration of the turn and per energy you have. So if you play him on turn 4, he's 32k. And then if you have 5 or more energy, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and then this gets triple strike. So if you play this on turn 3 or turn 5, you can potentially swing with game. Of course, you can get negated, and you have to have 2 life on turn 5, which is kind of iffy right now, in my opinion. But it's not the worst card. The fact that you can play him and draw a card and switch a card to active, switch an energy to active mode is pretty okay. Yeah, I think he's all right. He's a little lackluster, but it's Vegeta. It's cool. He's a cool card. This is blue, in case any of you were like, man, this card looks really green. It is a blue card. Not that it matters with our energy. Next up is probably like the worst card for this deck. There are literally no 3-drop swap cards that have Universe 7, and you only draw 2 cards when you swap into this, so he's got barrier. That's kind of neat. Okay, next up is Height of Mastery Son Goku. So he's got Deflect, which is really neat, and then also Triple Strike and Dual Attack. So when you play this card, also his auto is when you play it with swap, choose 3 of your opponent's battle cards and ignoring barriers and switch in the rest mode. So the ability to pretty much attack for 6 damage and then also tap your opponent out of either energy or blockers means that once you get this card out, you pretty much have a really good chance of winning. Unfortunately, the only swap card this leader can't really go hard in the swap mechanics, but you could, if you want, play this guy on turn 5, have him just sit there and live, and then on turn 6 you play this you swap him for 4. I don't think that's very viable in this deck. If you think it is, you should go do it, but I don't think I think you've got better things to do. So wait, let me think. So if you play this on turn 4, for whatever reason you're playing this in your deck, and then you pay 3, untap 2. Okay, so you could do that if you really, really, really want to get this card out on turn 5. You play this for 4, unawakened, live till turn 5, swap 3, untap 2, swap 4. There you go. It can be done. You shouldn't, though. And lastly, probably of all the Gokus, probably the most viable one for this kind of deck is this one. He has Double Strike. If you have 3 or less cards, reduce the energy cost of this in your hand by 1, which is really good, so you can play him for 4 energy. And when you play it, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and if it was in rest mode, you draw 1 card. So, good removal. Also, on the field, he's a 5 cost, even if you paid him for 4, so you can EX evolve him into the 8-drop one that has the triple attack. And the fact that you can KO a battle card and draw a card if it's in rest mode is really powerful, so I like this card. And he's, for whatever reason, he's a 5k combo. I think that's good. I don't know why. He's ultimate form Son Goku. He's not worth 10k. Whatever. I like it, but it seems fishy. Next, from the 3 cards with Universe 7 tag from the Ultimate box are... This leader is kind of like the only reason I'm remaking this video. But, so let's go into... So he's got Warrior of Universe 7. He's green. He's the untap 2 awaken. And then also his auto is Bond 1 with Universe 7. When it attacks a leader card, draw a card, and if it gains plus 5k for duration of the turn. So, like, as long as you play, like, the 1-drop Son Goku turn 1, this card is, on the front side, the exact same as this card, right? Without the, restriction of Universe 7 cards in your deck. And then the flip side for him is still Warrior of Universe 7. But he's got Bond 2, which is a little bit trickier because you can't count himself. But during your turn, this card gains plus 5k power and double strike. And then when this card attacks, draw 1 card. So this kind of leads to a more faster. I would say a faster playstyle, because for this guy you kind of want to wait until turn 5 and then you go off, right? With this one, I feel like you just kind of want to just hit the face, be more aggressive, and you can also you don't have to have like only warrior, or, Universe 7 cards, right? You have more utility for him, so it is plus 5k double strike for no cost. It seems really strong, and yeah, I feel like it will be probably a faster, different playstyle for this leader. All right, so then we also have 2 battle cards. We've got this last one standing Son Goku, which seems misleading, but name-wise. But anyways, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it, which is, it's an active main too, which is really weird. That's not an auto when you play it. But anyways, when you play this card from your hand, if there are 9 or more Universe 7 in your drop area for the duration of the turn, this card gains plus 10k in triple strike, and its attacks can't be negated. So at first I'm like, okay, it doesn't untap energy, so I can't go, I can't EX evolve. That seems really bad. But the more I kind of thought about it, it kind of got better in my mind. It's pretty easy to get 9 or more Universe 7 cards in your deck, because with this leader, it just says have 9 cards in your drop area. But being able to KO something and then attack for 35k triple strike, and it can't be negated in this deck, seems really good. If they don't Crusher Ball this guy, then and even if they do Crusher Ball, you still get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. But that just seems like a super good swing until the end of the game. And it just seems really powerful, because your opponent has to have like 2 blockers on the field for this to be blocked, and it's a triple strike again. So I think this card is actually kind of good. If you don't want to do the EX Evolve version of this deck, I'd say this Goku is really good. He can finish the game, and the fact that you don't have to have anything to get him out on the field is really strong. He doesn't have the Goku's lineage, which would be busted in my opinion if he did. So I'm thankful for that. But I think this card can see some play. And then lastly, this is my favorite card they introduced, is the Limitless Energy Android 17. So he's Blocker Barrier, which is a super strong combination. 5k blocker, super good, or 5k combo. And then when you play this card, if your leader card is green, choose up one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. I think this card can be pretty nuts, especially in kind of like the stall to turn 5 plan that we have with this deck. This is really good. It's just, you have Blocker Barrier, and then also you get to blow up one of your opponent's cards, which is just super defensive. And the fact that in general, I like this card too, because it doesn't have to be a green. It doesn't have to be a Universe 7 leader. It just has to be a green leader. So, and since he's Android 17, this card can be put in other cards, but in other decks with other leaders. But I think this card's really good for our decks. So now that that's done, I'm going to switch to the set 4 deck I made, and then I'll talk about putting these 2 cards in there at the end. So this is the deck. I'll go through it with detail. So there's Ready to Fight Son Goku. This looks top 3, and you add one of the cards in your hand. A lot of these cards have like Universe 7 tags, but since all these cards are Universe 7, I'm just going to read them off in that way. So because you just get to choose one of the cards in the top 3 of your deck and add it to your hand, which is like the best kind of draw. Let's see, we've got Focused Mind Son Piccolo. He's a Blocker Barrier for 3, and then if you have 4 more energy on your opponent's turn, he has plus 5k. He's super defensive. He's really important to us. You play him on turn 3. Blocker Barrier is hard to get rid of. Just super strong. Next up, At All Costs Vegeta. We are only running 2 of him. Since everything can be used for energy in this deck, he's not terrible. I haven't really pushed for the win with this card yet, so he's kind of got some wiggle room to wiggle out. If you don't own him, totally fine. Replace him with like some, where some of the holes are, or not. Some of these cards that aren't 4 of, but Yeah, he's just the fact that he also self awakens in case we get stalled out. That's important. So next up is Piccolo. So we have 4 of him, and then we also have 2 of each Gohan. So once again, you play this in turn 3 or turn 2. Look at which one of these you want on turn 3, and you get that card to your hand. So that's really powerful. We're only running 2 of each of these, but since we can tutor him with Piccolo, I think that's an okay ratio. Feel free, also if you don't have this card, just put 4 of these in. Just because I know it's a tournament promo, so it's a bit harder to find. Next up is Infinite Energy Android 18. She's the 10k combo you summon on the field in rest mode, so that's really good. It's defensive, which is what we need. So we only technically have one energy card to play, or one card to play in turn 1. So if you don't be afraid to just drop an energy and then do nothing, so you can play this on like a defensive step. Next up is Krillin. We only run 2 of him. I don't like when I really like this card. I'll just say it, but I don't think he's super relevant right now. Sure, your opponent just summons a bunch of small guys, but they can really easily be attacked over like Cobb and GT Trunks. So and since the meta is super aggressive, we don't really taking a life to activate an ability can be more of an actual cost right now than ever before. So I just run 2 of him. If you find that he's really helpful, definitely put more of him in, but I think he's fine at 2. I've never really been in a situation recently that said man, I really wish I had a Destructo Disk Krillin in my hand right now. It's been more of, well, I guess I can play this card, so I will. 3 of this Android 17, he's just a blocker, but also he gets to switch to active mode at the end of the turn. So you play him, you attack into something, and then you switch him back, and he's a blocker. So that's really powerful. That helps stall out, which this deck wants to do into turn 5 or 4 or 5. And yeah, I think he's a good fit in this deck. To this Gohan we talked about, we've got also, this is our main win condition. You EX evolve him on top of either one of these 2, and he's triple attack critical. So you attack with him 3 times, he's critical, and then every time he attacks, you destroy either one card in the field or one card in your opponent's hand. So that's really powerful, and usually when you play this card, you just win the game. But yeah, I just like this card, as you can probably tell by my previous deck profiles. Next, 4 super combos, which is good. It's 5 or less energy with this guy, so it's powerful, don't forget that. We've got 3 of this Majin Buu. We kind of need a little bit of filler in this deck. We're still kind of restricted in what cards we can run. So we play him. He looks for this Majin Buu, which is powerful. And then he can be kind of like an alternate win condition because he's double strike barrier, and then you can choose cards in your life to get plus 5k power. And also the fact that he self-awakens is strong, so just kind of good cards. And he's also 5k combo. I don't know why. It seems like he would be a 10k, but I once again like that. Talked about this Gohan, and then we've got Master Roshi. He's our only negate. I wish we could run more, but that is okay. For 1 energy, you just summon him on the field and negate the attack in active mode too, and so you can combo with him later in the turn as well. We've got 2 Universe 7 representative. This kind of a little bit filler. You look at the top 7 of your cards in your hand and add any cards you see to your hand, right? That's really powerful. We're only running 2 because I feel like we have enough tutor stuff already. We just, you want to dig. Probably the only card you really want to dig for in this game, or with this deck, is this card for turn 5. But I mean, you'll usually find it. There's so much, cycle and card draw and stuff. So, and then 2 of each of the 5 energy Son Gokus. We've got this one, which we kind of talked about, but we also run full power Spirit Bomb Son Goku. I originally ran 4 of him, but I kind of wanted this guy for a little bit more of flexibility because not everyone's playing super aggro. But when you play it, you draw 1 card and you switch one of your energy to active mode. So it's the same as this Vegeta in that sense. But you can also take 2 cards at a time into your hand and add them from your life to your hand, and it gets plus 10k power. And then he also evolves into him. So both of these cards can evolve into this guy on turn 5. Him because he turns into 4 energy in your hand and then you evolve. And this guy because you play him for 5 and then you get an energy refund. So yeah, both of these cards are good. I think are pretty good. And so also I didn't add Victory Strike in this deck. I feel like it's kind of costly, both money wise and energy wise. If you have Victory Strike, add them in for all. Please do and let me know how it goes. I don't own it and I don't want to buy it, so that's just why I didn't put it into this deck. I don't feel like you can getting him out on turn 5 is really specific, right? Because you have to play like this guy and then the full power Spirit Bomb, and then also like Awaken to have 2 more energy so you can play him. So that's why I don't play him. But he wins the game if you get him out. I just feel like you're already winning the game when you play this card. So yeah, this is the deck. Let me know what you guys think. I would probably, when we look back at these cards, I would probably, if you don't own these super rare Gokus, I would say like putting these cards in instead is probably okay, and then like changing these 4, put those 4 in for these 4, maybe, because this card can win the game by itself. And the only this deck loses to decks that can consistently kill you before turn 5. This deck is actually pretty defensive, so don't slack that off, because we have a lot of barriers and a lot of ways to combo out of stuff and kind of have clever negates, like through Master Roshi and through discarding 2 cards from your hand. And then also Crusher Ball kills this deck pretty quick. If we could run minus Killy Zone, I would definitely do that, but we can't, so we're not. That's the only unfortunate thing I feel like in this deck is that, which maybe will make the other leader better just because you have the option of running that card. But I think, I think this is a cool build. It's pretty cost effective. If you can't find this one, let me just look through the harder cards. So if you can't find this Goku, you just play 5 of the Spirit Bomb. If you can't find At All Costs Vegeta, just put in, I don't know, like 2 Krillins, I guess. This card this doesn't win the game. This is just kind of a little bit more flavor. And then you can put 2 of these Gohans for these. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.